Samanta Isaia tras trabajar como directora de contabilidad y finanzas para el Comité de Organización de los 20 Juegos Olímpicos de Invierno de Turín, en 2006 fue nombrada directora administrativa de la recién creada Fondazione Museo delle Antichità Egizie di Torino. En 2019 fue designada directora gerente del mismo, coordinando la actividad institucional y la fundación en todos los aspectos organizativos, de gestión, financieros y administrativos, de acuerdo con las directrices del presidente y del director científico en general. Desde entonces trabaja junto al director Christian Greco para enriquecer el proyecto de expansión y desarrollo de una de las mayores colecciones arqueológicas del antiguo Egipto. Tienes la palabra.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Isabel. This is a wonderful idea to share our problems and to share our working activities. I already found this morning some answers to some major questions that we are always managing. And thanks to have me here talking to you, considering the fact that I'm not an archaeologist. For any archaeologist question, please refer to Federico Zaina. Because my approach, as Nancy has already said, it's a very managing approach. Okay, it works. So, first of all, just a view on our institution, because we are a little bit different from some of you. We are a foundation, a private one, and since 2004, we are managing a state collection. The building and the collection is owned by our Ministry of Culture, and we are a private foundation funded both from private bank foundation and municipality, region, province, and ministry too. So we have two identities, two souls that sometimes get in conflicts, but we are used to manage also conflicts. The museum is there since a pretty long time, and this year is going to be our birthday, because we are going to be pretty old, let's say. On the contrary, the foundation is only almost 20 years old, and please look at the last line. We have a tattoo on our shoulder, which means that in 10 years, we are all going to be without a job. So if someone wants to hire a managing director, here I am. What does it mean? It means that the foundation was founded as the very first experiment of a private managing system towards considering the public collection. So the experiment is gonna last 30 years, and then we're gonna see what is going to happen. The very first aim of the foundation was changing completely the face and the approach to this archaeological museum. Nowadays, these are our impressive numbers, considering the fact that we are just managing an ancient Egypt collection. We are not a universal museum. Our permanent path is devoted to ancient Egypt collection, and we manage 40,000 artifacts, as you can see here. Yes, you can, okay. But before our foundation, these are the numbers of visitors before our foundation. Pretty good numbers. The collection was run directly by the state with a pretty low budget. For sure, when I was young, when I was 9 years old, my school trip was going and visiting the museum that many years after has hired me as a managing director. And these are the figures with us. Pretty impressive. I'm very proud to show you these numbers, and these numbers are telling you the hard work that each one of us in this room is doing every day to reach out to a very different public. And in general, we don't close, we just close on Christmas Day. And this is because we truly believe that our museum and our collection must be at disposal of our public, any kind of public. And because of that, we are taking around the world our collection, and we reach out to more than 8 million visitors during the years. And in the green spot, you can see the exhibitions that we are doing now, or we just have done last year, and that we will do in the future. Why? Because we think that it's our duty to bring out the collection of the museum in order that the world can understand better the history of ancient Egypt, and why Museo Egizio is in Torino, by the way, because we are talking about an Italian museum. So at the very beginning, I told you that the budget for the minister, with the management of the minister, was less than 800,000. This is the budget that we have built in 2015, and this is the budget of the last year. One thing it's very important for me to share: we don't receive public money. Of this huge amount of budget that we run, that we manage, 17 millions, the public money is 0.5%, which means nothing. And starting in 2015, we were able to pay all our costs and expenses, which means that truly we are a cultural firm. We are paying all our bills, salaries, projects, research, excavation, and so on. This is the timeline that is showing you how big was the evolution of our museum, starting in 2005, going up to 2019, considering the fact that in 2015 we have reopened a totally new museum in the same place without 1 day of closing. So we never close our museum while doing our 50 million works. How? We moved around the collection, the people, the offices in the building. Meanwhile, the works were going on. A mess? Yes. Hectic period? Yes. When I was hired, my hair was brown and now it's white. So you can imagine. But the public has paid us back, because anytime we were moving the collection and showing a new side of our collection, the public would come over, pay a bill, pretty little, but still pay a bill, and be part of our huge transformation. Then the COVID arrived, of course. It was a very, very tough moment for everybody, but still we kept on going with our research projects. We did anyway a new temporary exhibition, and then in 2021 we start thinking of a new project of change. That is going to be this year. We are going to change totally our museum, because we think that we need to answer to our society questions. How? With our main pillars: education and social role, scientific research, and of course, sustainability. At the very beginning, we thought that as everybody in this room, we were supposed to have a vision and a mission about our museum. But we weren't able to identify exactly what we wanted to be and where we wanted to go. So we started talking about pillars. And I think that also my colleague here, she was talking, or you were talking about pillars, because somehow the pillar is the base on which the identity of the museum is sustained first, but is also the possibility of understanding if we can add or if we have to add one more pillars. And with Christian Greco, we have pillars every week. So what we're gonna do in this hectic year, we are gonna develop 5 different projects, but meanwhile, since we are doing works right now in the museum, we have developed a dense agenda of events towards our birthday. A dense agenda of events with no money, actually, which means that people are entering my office, says, hey, Sam, do you have 1 million euros? And I say, wait, open the drawer. No, I don't, I'm sorry. Let's look for a sponsor. It's fun, it's tough, but we are learning every day. So I would say that I have a PhD in hands-on activity. And because of this dense agenda, we are not losing public. We are plus 12% of visitors nowadays, which means that if the evolution of the museum is shared with the territory and with its own context, people are gonna come anyway. This is our new logo because we are reaching out from 1824 up to 2024. And while waiting for the official opening of the new Gallery of Kings, we just put the statues in a main gallery outside our, inside our building, but outside our different rooms. It's weird, yes, because you enter even with no ticket and you can visit this replaced Gallery of Kings. At the very beginning, the people wouldn't understand that they could visit and they could read without having a ticket. But now you can have plenty of visitors reading all the original position that the statues kept for the very first 30 years in our museum. And of course, since we are an alive museum, even if we are talking about death, we decided to develop a funerary roof garden, very didactic, with many activities are going on as soon as it's going to quit in Torino raining, because it's raining since ever. And we are building up many educational activities, and we are trying to pass the idea that ancient Egypt is not about death, but it's about life. And here are some pictures of our roof garden where you can have a walk, you can have a rest, you can sit around, make a telephone call, and it's also a use, let's say, of personal digestion of the 2.5 kilometers of museum that we are showing. Then, within September this year, we are going to inaugurate a new section of the permanent path. We are talking about materiality, and the title is very romantic, The Shape of Time, because we have a problem with our collection. We are storytelling about 4,000 years of ancient Egypt history, and it's a very difficult idea to share with our public. So the shape of time gives us the idea that even if time is fluid and it's made of dates, has its own shape in materiality. And we are going to show our scientific approach to our collection following the great success of our temporary exhibition, Invisible Archaeology. About this, I need to tell you something. One day in 2018, early 2018, the curator Ferraris and the director Christian Greco came in my office, and they said, Sam, we need almost 2 million euros to build up a temporary exhibition about invisible archaeology. We want to show up to our public all the examination, scientific archaeometrical examination that we do in order to vertically and scientifically research our collection. And I look at them and said, first, I don't have 2 million euros. Second, I didn't understand anything about what you want to put on, show. Storytelling about what? Scientific research with examination on our collection. Nobody's going to understand. I don't understand. What are you going to tell the people? And they said, we are going to storytell in a very charming way the fact that beneath what you see, there is a biography of the object that we can research with our examination and tell the public about. And I said, oh, poor me, we're going to waste our money. Well, it has been our most successful temporary exhibition. At the very end of the exhibition, we did a video mapping projection on a sarcophagus, storytelling the different layers of wood and construction and reproduction of these wonderful yellow coffin sarcophagus. And with this video mapping projection, my twins, at that age, they were 9 years old, for 10 minutes shut up and enjoyed what we put on show. So the director is the genius, Ferraris is the curator, I am the one who is taking care of finance, even if I don't believe in the project. And this is a very important sentence of mine. Money in a museum is to serve the museum pillars, nothing else. We don't make business. We don't make culture. We study culture, we research culture, and we allowed culture to speak up to the public itself. But going back to our materiality section, here are some ideas. The fact that we're going to apply modern technology in the study of the past and the materialities. And of course, since we adore to take risk, we decided that we're going to move in this section of the permanent path the entire collection of vases that we have. So we are building a real vase library, a vasoteca. More than 4,000 vases are going to be moved in 6 weeks by 10 people to this new section of our museum. By the way, we looked for a very important supplier of vitrines that was doing the project of this vasoteca with a unique engineering process, because this vasoteca is going to be functioning as a library, so you can go up, step up, and look at the higher layer of the vase library itself. All of these to go towards our birthday projects. 5 birthday projects. The first one is that we are covering our courtyard, as Isabel has shown us last night in this museum. We are covering 1,000 meters of square meter. Nowadays, the courtyard is just a passage from the main entrance to the museum. We are going to develop a real Piazza Egizia where everybody can enter. You don't have to have a ticket. You can sit in this piazza, have a coffee, read a book, connect to our Wi-Fi line, and enjoy also our garden. Then we're going to have a big Egyptian garden in the -1, reaching out to the 0 floor, so I'm pretty worried about the cost of the plants, but this is another issue. Then we are going to allow the people entering for free the temple of Elisia. We are totally redoing the Gallery of Kings, and this is going to be a pretty big and important project, of which I don't know exactly which are going to be the result. In the -1, we are going to have an immersive Egyptian museum. Let's look at the plaza. The project is by OMA, a Netherlands architectural VIP office. And it's all done with iron and glasses. We are going to build the cover in the mid of June. So for the very first time, we're going to have the museum closed for 4 weeks, from the 17th of June to the 12th of July, because in these 4 weeks, we're going to build up the cover. And the plaza is going to be a real urban plaza. Then we're going to have in the floor 0 all the services, cafeteria, museum shop, info point, and clock room, of course. And then with the stairs, we're going to go down, new stairs, we're going to go down to our Egyptian garden. We were used to have an Egyptian garden in our courtyard. It was a pretty nice little project that we had last summer. Very successful, because people would stop and read about all the botanical details of our Egyptian garden. So we decided to build one in the -1. And then from the ground 0, when we're going to be brand new, you can enter, you're going to be able to enter for free the temple of Elisia. Madrid has another temple in a garden, because Spain helped with many other countries the movement of Abu Simbel temple. So Egypt gave us as a present the temple of Elisia, and the state gave it to our museum. So we thought that the temple is not part formally of our collection, but it's a present towards all the Italians. So this is the reason for which from the street and from the plaza, you're going to enter for free our temple of Elisia. And I was told last night by Federico that we are going to show up all the colors of this temple that nowadays are not there any longer, with a digital tool. We are going to redo our very famous Gallery of Kings. For the Olympics, Dante Ferretti, the Oscar winner, have thought a very dramatic refurbishment of the Gallery of Kings, dark mirrors, and everybody's putting a pic of himself in the gallery in Instagram. But we want to be strictly more scientific about our Gallery of Kings. So the title of our new project is From Darkness to Light. We are going to open the gallery to our public plaza, not only the Plaza Egizia, but also the Carignano Plaza. And we are going to rethink totally the scientific concept of our monumental gallery, and we are enlightening our research and our collection, really taking light and taking sun into our museum, because these statues originally in their geographical context were in the sun, not in the dark. And here we take our speech to our immersive Egypt. If you go through our 2.5 kilometers path, you see a wonderful collection, but you don't understand the geographical and historical context from which they arrive. So with this immersive Egypt project, what we want to show is the geographical context and give an idea of Egypt 40,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and maybe also nowadays. So we are talking about historical geography through our collection, but also with digital tools. I don't know, actually, if we are gonna reach totally this aim, because it's pretty ambitious in terms of technology, in terms of maintenance, in terms of content that we want to share. But the only way for a museum like ours and like yours to speak out loud our identity is to give a try to our project. If it won't function, we're going to disinstall it. And finally, after 20 years, we have been reaching to these two important definitions about vision and about mission. I truly believe that we are a bridge. I truly believe that we are, as museum professionals, heroes in handling, in our situation, a collection that is not from Italy. And I truly believe that we are a contemporary archaeological museum, speaking to our public always, reaching out also to complaints, and trying to understand which is our fluid position in our context. Museum must be very experimental because memory is our future. Thank you.